fellow countrymen and women. These are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench. This is the front bench.
Well, 40 years of building Uganda. How has our infrastructure journey shaped national development? 0709-602592 is our WhatsApp number. Please be part of the conversation. Do send in your comments, your questions about our topic. We are talking about the journey of building Uganda, our infrastructure. I did give my introduction talking about the 21,000 kilometers national roads that we do have as a nation, but of those 6,750 kilometers have been worked on. Now, working on, I don't know, the minister and the PS will be justifying this. Working on, does it mean the Maram or does it mean the tarmac? What should Ugandans expect? How is the journey like? Where we have moved on? Honorable Minister, thank you so much for sparing time. I was reading sorry, a message that was put on the X handle of Ministry of Works about liberation. And it says from a modest start of liberation, Uganda has transformed its transport infrastructure, connecting producers to markets, strengthening regional corridors, and positioning the country as a competitive regional and global logistics hub. Yes, these are some of the things, Minister, you're going to be justifying to the whole nation. Right. Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. 40 years, yes. I think for Ugandans to be fair, and especially to my ministry, the Ministry of Works and Transport, yes, we are talking of 40 years, but realistically speaking, in terms of the government concentrating on development infrastructure, came after 2006. If you remember, between 1986 and 2006, for 20 years, Uganda was in war. I think people forget. For 20 years, the government's main focus and concentration was on bring about peace and stability. Within that period, the government put down about 26 different rebel groups. So in terms of main focus, in terms of where do you put your money at that time, it was more about stopping the wars, creating a peaceful environment to enable development now to move. And that is how you find that when you look when you look at the history of the development, especially in infrastructure, between 1986 and 2006, not very much investment was made in that direction.
So where does our journey start from, literally?
So our journey more or less starts around after 2006 onwards. But still, you even after that, the government had put down all those rebellions, there were so many demands in every sector, be it health, be it education, so it was not until about 2018 that government now starts really to put a lot of emphasis on road development, on infrastructure. And this was even done, as you have said, we pride ourselves in being the regional hub of logistics, because Uganda, by nature of our position in the region, we are the regional hub. Why? Because we kind of distribute to all the regional neighbors. You can't go to South Sudan without using Uganda. You can't go to to Congo without using Uganda, Rwanda, and the rest. So in a way, we are the center of distribution of logistics. So in terms of now investing in infrastructure, when government came to invest in the infrastructure, mainly the roads now, the priority was given to those roads which link us to our neighbors,
Okay.
to the borders. First of all, to enable us to trade, send our goods out, but also be able to bring in goods which are coming in our country, but also those which are going to our neighbors. So the investment was properly structured, first to address border-to-border movement and enable movement of goods and logistics from one country to another, another country, and from our country to the export routes, especially through Mombasa.
Honorable, at that very point, you did talk about being a logistic hub. True, we could agree. When you do listen to farmers, down the farmers, yeah, down there, they do tell you that, but the government should improve on our roads, on how they transport their goods to the markets.
Exactly, and government is not blind of that. As I said, as we plan, you go step by step. Okay, we started mainly, the main effort went into those roads to the neighbors, border to border. That's why, for example, now you can drive on tarmac all the way from Nimule to Chanika on the border of Rwanda. You can drive from Maraba all the way to Lamia on the border of the Congo on tarmac. Okay? While we are talking about the tarmacking of those roads, we are not blind of the last mile, because the last mile is that road which goes to the farm to get the products from the farm, to bring them into possibly the correction centers for us to be able to aggregate them into a sizable logistic for export. So even that last mile, while we may not be tarmacking that last mile as of now, government has made investment to ensure that those roads which are going to the farmer's home, the farmer's garden or shamba, are also attended to. They may not necessarily be tarmac, but they're good maram roads. What did government do? Government decided to invest in road maintenance equipment, which they have distributed to all districts except the districts, to enable the districts now to maintain those roads, those maram roads, to the last mile.
So ideally, all the 146 districts?
All the regional 146 districts
have maintenance equipment. Okay.
Government also every quarter sends money to those local governments to ensure that they maintain those roads. And recently, under the president's guidance, government has added another 1 billion on top of what we call the road fund, which is sent every quarter. So every district gets 1 billion every year, in addition to what they get every quarter, in order to address the issue of the roads in their districts. That's the last mile you are asking. How do I get my tomatoes from the garden to bring them to the market in Nakasero or wherever? That's where the government has invested.
Okay. Actually, Minister, you will explain. There is a map that I saw around.
Yes.
But let me first move to the PS. PS, you are a technical person in this arena. The journey of our infrastructure. Today, you did follow the president when he was saying that all roads should, at this time, have been worked on, be it tarmac, be it maram. You are the technical officer in the Ministry of Works.
Now, thank you very much. As technical people, we are the people who mobilize resources, budget, and plan, and execute. We have upped our game of making sure that the infrastructure is maintained. We are now shifting emphasis on development to also emphasize maintenance. You know, it is out of sometimes pressure from the citizens. We want Tamaka Road here, we want this, but we should also prioritize maintenance. So we are committing not less than 30% of the resources to maintenance of infrastructure. We have also drawn a $100 million plan, which we submitted to Ministry of Finance to get equipment for municipalities and cities so that they can tarmac their roads and reduce dust in towns. So this goes also with the increased money for maintenance, as the minister said it, and also we need to up our game with supervision of the works which are undertaken.
Looking at the demand, PS, of Ugandans, at what point do you veer off from the plans of National Planning Authority? Because I do understand sometimes, not even sometimes, they do plan for the nation and they do bring up that this should be achieved. We do have the National Development Plan for right now, but there is also demand that sometimes appears and you have to work on it immediately. At what point do you get off the plan of National Planning Authority to ensure that Ugandans also get what they need, however much the plan is also for serving Ugandans?
Well, as much as possible, we should follow the plan because that is how we get organized. As I talk now, we have finalized our strategic plan for the next 5 years, which is supposed to implement our commitments under the National Development Plan. It is also supposed to help us achieve the aspirations of the AU, African Union of 2063, and the Vision 2040. So we should do as much as possible stick to this plan. That is when we are realistic.
Okay.
However, there can be emergencies which were sometimes caused by El Nino, emergence of watchtower bridges. Those must also be addressed. And that's why we are engaging Ministry of Finance that when we have a budget, let's have an element to address the emergencies and these unexpected problems.
All right, Honorable Minister, back to you.
Yes.
21,000 kilometers,
Yes.
national roads. Ugandan may want to understand which of these national roads are we talking about, but of those so far, you've managed to work on about 6,750 kilometers. Is this enough? When you do subtract, there is a difference. There is a gap that you need to fill 40 years down the road.
No, of course they are not. 6,000 out of 21,000 is not a lot of tarmac. Again, it's very good that you have mentioned the National Development Plan and National Planning Authority. We don't just wake up in the morning and we say, do road X.
Okay.
The roads we do are done according to the National Planning Authority directive and plans. Remember, every 5 years, we have a 5-year development plan, which is generated and developed by the National Planning Authority. It's what they hand to us. It's our guide. It's our Bible in terms of developing the network. So I know that when, for example, during the political season and all, there's so many demands of roads and roads. Everybody is demanding a road. But we have to follow the National Planning Authority guide, okay?
Yes.
Because otherwise, we shall never have the proper planning for anything. So when, and this is what I usually refer to our members of parliament and even other people who demand roads. I first ask, is that road within the National Planning Authority? Is it in the National Development Plan of the 5 years? If it's not there, then the first thing is for that to enter into the plan. Otherwise, even the Minister of Finance will not be able to fund, will not be able to finance it because it's not planned for. So this is where we come from. We must follow the National Planning Authority and the NDP, the National Development Plan. We have now had, I think now we are going to NDP 4.
Yes.
Yes? And we have had NDP 1, 2 and 3. Yes, do we always totally execute what is provided in the NDP? Not necessarily. Because remember, we are operating as a nation, a cash budget. The money that comes in is the money finance can spend. Maybe sometimes they do borrow. like projects which implement on borrowed money. But there's also a limit to which we can borrow. We can't just borrow anyhow. There's a limit which the Minister of Finance cannot go over in terms of borrowing.
Okay.
So we ensure that the projects we are going to implement are within the plan and they're within the national development.
And DP4.
Yeah, now we're in NDP4.
4, yes.
If some of those have, were not implemented in NDP3, then they have come to NDP4 and they'll have the first call in terms of development. So that's how we decide which roads to do. It's not Katumba sitting in his office and saying, no, I think there is a good road in Kalangala, let me go and do it. It must be according to the plan. So that's one. Now, the national roads, which are these national roads? The national roads is the road that connects the countries first to the neighbors, border to border. That's a national road. The road which connects a region to a region. For example, most of you know Karamoja.
Yeah.
Karamoja at one time was like a deserted region. So we had to connect Karamoja. That's how we came to do the road from Soroti, Katakwi, Iriiri to Moroto. And now we have connected it to the border through Moroto to Loktanyara. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's a region. Now, those small roads within the districts of Moroto, those are the ones which the district now must attend to. Okay? And also, there are those where you find, for example, a road connects between one district and another district. So each district is looking at the other two to work on. That comes back into the ministry, and that's what those were the ones we work on, and a program called District Urban and Community Access Roads by the ministry.
Okay.
There are things, for example, like bridges, which the district cannot do. District cannot do bridges. First, they don't have the capacity. Secondly, they can't have the money to do that, the bridges. So the bridges are done by the ministry, which, whether the bridge is on a national road or the bridge is on a district urban community access road, it's done by the ministry.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, apart from the National Development Plan, there is also the manifesto.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
of the government or the party in power. They go out and make a social contract with the voters. We shall do this, we shall do this, we shall do that. What is very interesting is that we have the manifesto which has been on, and the National Development Plan have actually been talking to each other. So there has been no departure, and that has helped us to be implementing.
So ideally, does the manifesto make up the plan?
That one, now you ask the National Development Plan,
okay.
How National Planning Authority, how they generate their plan. But at least what we saw is that the manifesto and the National Planning, the NDP have been talking to each other very well. There may be a few departures here and there, but at least 90% they are in harmony.
It is followed. Honorable, before we go for a break, there is a map. I don't know if my producer can put it there for us. You could try to explain. I do see some, it is a map of Uganda, but I'm seeing some red, I'm seeing some blue.
Okay.
You are the custodian of that.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know whether the whole map is on, but what I can tell you is that what you see in black,
okay,
those are the roads which were there by 1986.
Okay.
That is the close to 1,000, I think. It was about 850 kilometers, close to 1,000. Now, what you see in red on that map,
yes,
are all the roads which have been made so far, which make up the 6,750 kilometers of roads which are already made. There are those projects which are still ongoing, which have, because for us to bring those kilometers to add them onto the 6,750 is when that project is totally completed and handed over. That's when we add. For example, there are projects which are still ongoing, like Kapchora Swamp.
okay,
It's more or less 90% ready, but it's not on that one. Muyembe na Kapriprit, and all those, and many others. So we shall bring those on, and I think if we come back to this studio,
Yeah.
3 months from now or 6 months from now, the story will be different.
Different.
It will not be 6,750, it will be much more. Because there's so many projects which are still ongoing. Now, what you see there, the bar chart down there, tells you the story of how much, where the investments have now been made. If you look at that chart, you see from starting on the left,
Yes,
my
extreme
left, if I may,
yes,
is the 1986. Okay?
Okay.
Now you can see between 1986 and 2006, if you would follow,
Yeah.
you'll find that the investment was not very much. Actually, one of the two of those high spikes in that period are the roads like the Soya Road. I don't know whether you know the Soya Road.
No.
That's the one of Mitiana, Mubende. That road was done through barter trade. Again, Busunju, Chivoga, Toima. That's where there was that kind of investment then.
Okay.
Then you can see the lull, how it went down a bit, right?
Yeah.
You see? And then somewhere after 2018, we had some again spiking, moving up in some of the areas. Then when it came to 2020 and 2019, 2020, you see there are more investments now, and that's why the spikes are higher. Now, that's when government now went into the investment of what people have started derogatorily talking about, the oil roads. The oil roads were done purposely to enable oil, to enable the exploration and production of the oil to go on. And if you look at the map later on, you'll see that there's a lot of concentration of red in the Albertine. That's what it talks about. So
Okay.
those are the spikes you see. They are very high spikes during that period.
Let me go through some of these comments and questions of the Minister. We are going for a break. Good evening. I'm Chizito Joseph. Sentema Road. My question is one, Minister, for workers. I don't know if you wanted to mean works. Just West Street vendors on the roadside, especially Mitiana Road and Sentema Road, but those vendors are back on the road, and those people pay daily dues to some individuals. This is Chizito Joseph, Sentema Road, okay. Another one, this is retired Captain Chitaka Mayanja in Chivoga. I want to know why every budget you see many roads are put on the program to be worked on. One of them is Chivoga, Bukuya, Kasanda to Mianzi. But years pass, nothing is done. Thank you. That is captured. This is Mr. Kasaiji. Thank you so much for the tremendous work of bringing government officials for accountability. This is Musi Charles at Choga Wakiso here on Hoima Road. Okay, this is Okello Daniel from Kole District. Kindly ask the Minister if there is any plan soon to tarmac Kona Aboke to Bobby Road to help connect Gulu to Lira as we prepare to host AFCON in 2027. More too. This is Milton Muramuzi in Kagadi. I thank honorable ministers for what is done in 40 years and what is to be done. Honestly, you worked on the Bunyoro districts, but forgot Kagadi, Mohoro, Ndaiga, Ntoroko Road, and Chijura Mayombo all the time in a manifesto, but not done. Ladies and gentlemen, comments are many, questions are many, but at the right time, my guests will have time to respond on those. For now, allow me go for a short break. When we return, we'll get back to the topic.
This is the Front Bench.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But Not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvesters in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geographer we taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is the Front Bench.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping it UBC. We are back for the second part to digest some of your issues. PS, I did sample out some of the questions. You will answer those that are directly under your office, and the others will be answered by the minister. But talking about development, 40 years from 1986, even before, Uganda is transforming when it comes to digital, and I do understand you do have plans as an institution to manage large, complex infrastructure projects. How are you willing to work within the given framework to ensure that there are no delays and cost overruns?
Thank you very much. First, I've already told you that we have finalized our strategic investment plan. We have also finalized our service delivery standards, which will promote accountability and making sure that people know what we are doing. And this is supported by the client charter, where we tell people what they should expect from the ministry. Besides that, we've just completed the rationalization, the merger of agencies. We're among the big ministries affected by rationalization. That is the merger of former Uganda Road Fund and the Uganda National Roads Authority back into the ministry. This has improved the communication, it has improved the administration and the coordination within the ministry, but we are yet to upraise it. The other one is that these big projects we have been undertaking have suffered the problems of inadequate funding, where you could have funds, say, for the works, but lacking funds for land, for the right of way. We have improved on this planning. We have agreed with the Ministry of Finance that when sourcing funds for a project, we should fund for the 3 components. The component of the works, and then the component of the supervisory consultant or engineer, and also land acquisition. Once you have these 3, there will be no problem. We have already tried it on Brenkunya patch because that road was having a problem of land acquisition. And we have also brought in the element of better designs. When you are designing a road, what do you want to achieve? Don't design a road to last just 5 years and it is washed away. And of course, we have also to bear in mind the element of resilience, the element of climate change. Make a road which can withstand the climate so that it's a complete project. Don't make a road where you make the drainage poor or narrower than the water expected. So that's why we are now shifting from the use of metallic culverts, known as Amuko culverts, into box culverts and bridges. As I talk now, we have a project which has been initiated by His Excellency the President, whereby we are going to get 100 metallic bridges for the whole country. And this is going to ease a lot of drainage and other problems to do with the infrastructure.
PS, you did talk about acquisition of land, how it is a challenge, but the delay is also in compensating these project-affected persons. Is it also one of the issues?
Yeah, the delay is compensating these people. Of course, it is resources. The resources must be readily available because the land appreciates in value. If you get somebody's land valued at 10 million shillings today, pay it today or tomorrow. You don't do it, you pay it 3-5 months later, it will be a loss to the owner of the land. Secondly, there has been a tendency of being a bit ambitious on the corridor we acquire. You acquire a corridor which will serve in the next 50 years, and you acquire 50 meters of width. Then you take off 10 for the road as of now. You will not be able to keep that corridor for the next 10 years. See, when you want to expand the road, you end up compensating people who have encroached on the road. So we are trying now to rationalize, to optimize the corridor which you acquire for a road so that it's not very costly.
Okay. Yeah. Honorable Minister, we must appreciate what we have achieved. How far is the Usagampiji Express? Not forgetting the Entebbe Express, which we have here. Is it now the new normal? Are we still paying the debt that we borrowed from wherever to ensure that we have such a big complex? Is it now new normal? What is the way forward? How is the stand?
Thank you very much. I think one of the things we are trying to do is also think out of the box in terms of investment for infrastructure. We are trying now, well, we have concentrated a lot of roads, but as a ministry, we are now aiming at getting an integrated transport infrastructure system which will be able to serve the logistics system also. Because we don't do roads just for the sake of it. We do it to ensure that it moves goods and people from point A to point B. So in one of the things we're doing now, because investment in infrastructure is very expensive, and as I said, even if we're going to borrow money, Ministry of Finance has a limit to which it can borrow, okay? So we are now looking at how to even encourage partnerships. We have seen this in many countries. South Korea is one of those, and many other countries, where investment in expressways have been beneficial not only to the country itself, but also to the road users. That we get, for example, what we are now going to do with the Kampala-Jinja Expressway. Kampala-Jinja Expressway is going to be a PPP. I think you know that this country passed the PPP law.
Yes, yes.
So there's provisions for that. So the Kampala-Jinja Expressway is going to be a PPP, and the investor will be able to recoup his money after a period of time which government will have agreed with him. Okay? And we're encouraging some other PPPs like Bombo Expressway. We think that can also be able for the investor to recoup his money. But there are expressways which we have developed, which are going to be run by government. Busega Mpigi is one of them. That is going to be a government expressway, and so is Entebbe Expressway. Entebbe Expressway was constructed by a Chinese company with a loan called Rossi, on a loan. But then government found that it could actually recoup some money to pay that loan, but also maintain the road. If you have used the Entebbe Expressway, I think you agree with me that you never have a breakdown, for example, and to not be responded to immediately. Even you see the maintenance of the roadsides and everything and all that, because the road generates its own income, instead of waiting for the money from the consolidated. So part of what we recoup from that goes back to paying the loan, which was used to construct the road, and part of it is also for maintaining the road.
And part of the insecurities, Honorable, insecurities on Entebbe Express Highway. We should talk about them.
Yes.
The Ugandan says if we are paying a lot and a lot has been invested on that project alone,
yes.
But there are still those small nitty-gritties that need to be aligned. Insecurity, people are throwing stones, actually using Entebbe Express at night, maybe beyond midnight. It is very risky.
No, I think that was the case before, when they had vandalized the
barricades on, yes.
And the Ugandans vandalized, not anybody, not strangers, not foreigners. Ugandans vandalized the fence. Now we have put back another form of a fence, which they cannot vandalize. That one is, it was tested, it is security, it meets security standards, so it cannot be vandalized. There is a patrol unit on that road by Pinnacle Security, which is on. The problem is that I don't know how many. Do you know the number, for example, for Pinnacle Security?
No.
I know you use Entebbe Express.
Yes, I use it.
But it's always displayed. So in order to be to participate, to help what we are trying to achieve by putting those services there, you also as a Ugandan be responsible. Pick that number and have it with you, so that in case you get challenged, you can be able to be responded to. In case your vehicle breaks down, you should be able to call.
Isn't that news, Honorable Minister?
No,
that is something that I didn't know.
Yeah,
for the times I've used that road.
There, even at the
on the ticket.
Yes,
are they on the ticket?
No, even at the booth, where you pay for.
Yes.
Yes, the numbers are there, even for the security team. So again, for the issue of security, that's what I can say. The security elements are there, but you need to know how to reach them, and the provisions are there. Okay, so don't just go through. If you don't have it, if you can't access it, we'll make sure that you do. But it's always, even when on those screens as they go, the numbers are displayed. Now, on Busega Mpigi, we had the challenge. Briefly, I'll say this: the alignment of the road was changed from the original alignment, which made it a very expensive project, and that it actually at one time faced the threat of being abandoned. But the good news now, which I can tell the public, is that we have recovered. The African Development Bank has accepted to make sure that the project is finalized. The project was not only meant for Uganda. As I said, we're a logistic hub, we're a corridor. The project was meant to facilitate the Northern Corridor transit route to Rwanda and Rwanda and also DRC. So the African Development Bank has now given us the nod to go ahead and complete the project. And so we are going to ensure that we catch up on lost time by ensuring that the contractor doubles efforts to ensure that the project is recovered. But that one is not going to be, it's going to be, yes, it is going to have toll roads, a toll, and the number of connections. It has about four intersections and 4 connections, connecting to the Mitiana Road, connecting to Nakauka, connecting to all these other areas, so that you can be able to bring in some money and we make the infrastructure better.
Briefly about the standard gauge railway, how far?
Yes, as I said, we are as a ministry, we are promoting what we call the integrated and multimodal transport system. The multimodal means we don't only develop roads, we don't only develop railway, we don't only develop air or water. All these are developed, are given the same kind of attention in terms of development.
Same treat.
Same treat. So that you can travel by water and then maybe transfer into a rail and a road. Now, we want these to function so that they can even give relief to our roads. If you look at our main trunk road, for example, the one from Maraba to Kampala to I don't know if they have traveled on Mukono.
Yeah, the railway?
No, on road.
Yes, on road, yes, I have.
You can, and you have witnessed what's on that road between Kampala, Mukono, Jinja, and
a lot of
Maraba.
traffic.
That road is already overwhelmed in terms of load, in terms of cargo. So the reason why we're developing this multimodal and integrated transport system is to relieve the roads of most of the burden. Because why are we even failing to maintain these roads? Because they break down so often because of the overload. So we are developing...
And the money is spent.
Yes. So before we even do the standard gauge railway, we have invested in rehabilitation and refacilitating the meter gauge railway, the old railway system, to ensure that this system works and will take some of the weight, some of the load from the road onto the rail. And so is the water. Water had also been neglected. For example, Lake Victoria is a very big resource, which we could exploit for transport. We had neglected it for some time, but now we are aggressively looking at how we can maximize it. Now, on top of this is coming the standard gauge railway. The standard gauge railway was conceived as a regional project, not only a Ugandan project. It's a regional within East Africa. If you remember, it was even launched by the 4 presidents in Munyonyo. So it's a regional project. So Kenya started because they're at the entry point. We delayed, but we are going to start. As you have said, mentioned at the beginning of the program, we already signed, not a memorandum of understanding, but actually a contract. Already we have with Yapi Mackenzie. Right now, they're doing their preliminaries, setting up their camps, setting up where they're going to put their slipper factory, and doing their final touches and final details of their design reviews. So we think by April, May, they should be rolling out the actual construction.
All right. Honorable and the PS, allow me, let us now try to answer some of these questions. I know we can't finish everything.
Yeah, I know.
But people also are part. When will Lumino Sophia Rwanda in Kenya Road start, sir, in Busia? Okay, your question is captured. Good evening, fellow Ugandans. I'm called Ankunda Briscoe, live from Kabale District. Thanks for the host to our big ministers. I welcome everyone from Liberation. Okay, where is your point? Okay, I'm not seeing your point there. This is Brighton Wamanya. One of the weaknesses this government has is services based on political affiliations. It's no longer about equitable distribution of resources. What strategies is Minister Katumba having to ensure a regional equality, especially with road construction? Is the minister happy with Mitiana Fort Portal Road Estate? This is Brighton, Niwamanya. Okay, Apache Highway Road compensation stalled. Why? Beneficiaries are being paid in bits. We have beneficiaries of up to 5 years. Some even died without pay. This is Boniface Okello. Okay, hello, Honorable Minister. You have always promised us the Bududa Circular Road almost every financial year. What went wrong? Yet Bududa is a food basket with a very poor transport network. This is Masongole Ronald from Bududa. This is Opila Robert. Kindly ask Minister, road of Kumi to Tirinyi has no humps. Kindly, Minister of Works, respond to this. Last one for now. Circular Road, this one is asking about the same Circular Road in Bududa. Now those are two people.
Okay.
Good evening. I wanted to know about Kumingora to Kagwara and Soroti to Serere. Will it be to government plans for tarmacking it this year? Because a lot has been talked about. Thank you, John. Honourable Minister, let me allow the PS to answer a few, because now many are directed to you as we try to wrap up. PS, you could pick a few and then the other batch can be handled by the Minister.
Okay, let me answer Boniface Okero.
Yes, please.
On the compensation on in Apache. This Apache is part of the Rwenkunye Apache Lira. It's a long road. It stretches from Rwenkunye to Apache, to Lira, to Puranga, then it is going up to Acholibu. We had problems of compensation because we had the separation of the budget. But as we are finishing the last financial year, finance gave us some 400 billion and we prioritized that road. Recently we got another 500 billion to pay those debts, the works, the right of way. So we also prioritize that road, and the situation is going to improve when we get the rest of the funds. Government process is supplementary of 1.70 trillion to help us pay off the certificates, to pay off the landowners and the other debts. So far we have got an advance of 500 billion from that money. Once we get the rest of the money, the situation is going to improve much. On the issue of Kagwara Serere, that road is under procurement, and the procurement has moved. It is a donor-funded road. So when you have a donor-funded road, each step you take, you have to report to the funder, and you get what they call an objection before you proceed. But the process is moving, and we hope in the next 3-4 months we shall have signed the contract for that road.
All right, PS, your parting shots, just in case, so that when I go to the Minister, he will also give his closing remarks because of time.
Well, my closing remarks is that I would like to thank the public being patient with us, especially for some of the roads which have deteriorated over time. But we are doing our best to improve those roads. The Minister himself has been very active on Mitiana Muvende Road, trying to get the contractor back on the road. We have formed a unit which helps us to run and do some remedial works where we cannot have a contractor. And we have also acquired equipment which can quickly do patching of a road where there is a pothole before it gets big. We thank you for that patience, but also help us to look after the assets the road is stock. There are people who come and burn certain materials on the road. It has happened recently on Katosi Road. There are people who deliberately do damage to the road. And also, I call upon, we want also in ourselves to up our game on axle road control, because this is one of the areas which make roads go bad quickly. We are going to eliminate all these old way bridges by installing digitalized way bridges so that we can control the axle road and save the roads. So I thank the public, I thank government for the resources extended to us. Minister of Finance is very, very proactive with us. We work together, and I thank them for that.
All right. Thank you so much, PS. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. I'll go straight to the question.
Please.
There was a question about Bobby, Kona Icheme, Kona Aboki, Kona Yel. Yeah, that road is going to support the AFCON. And so there's already a contractor has been identified called Samco, who's going to be doing that road. The one doing the Akibua Stadium in Lira, because it will be a very big shortcut for people who will be landing in Gulu, where we are going to develop the airport, to improve the airport, so that it can act as one of the the airports to serve AFCON.
The time frame we have is
the time frame. Of course, we have to do double running now to have these infrastructures ready.
Okay.
Now, somebody talked about Nyanzi, Kasanda, Bukuya, Kiboga. Yes, this road now. If you are in the areas of Kasanda, Bukuya, you must have already seen now our teams there doing the alignment so that we can know how much we need in terms of compensation before we can get a contract on site. We have now come to terms with the Minister of Finance and agreed that we are not going to start any project until compensation has been assured or has been done. At least 80% of the compensation needed must be done before we put a contractor on site. So that's what they're doing now, is doing the alignment according to the design so that we can know how much it will take to do the compensation. Now, somebody rightly said the vendors on his
Sentema
Road, and also around Braga, Buloba, and those areas. Yes, I saw also that some of them were sneaking back. We are going to get them off. They have to get off. And this is not just on that road. All the roads, those people who have put platforms on our drainage and turned them into stalls. Please remove them at your own cost before we come, because we are going to remove them because we are damaging our roads. You put all the garbage in the drainage, and then the water cannot find its way and ends up on the road and spoils the roads. Plus also making it very unsafe, because on those roads, even you see it even here in Kampala, where we have put a walkway and somebody is trading tomatoes. The walkway is to enable people, pedestrians, to walk away from the road. Now the pedestrians are forced off the
pedestrian walkway now to the road,
and they conflict with the traffic. So let's also get organized as Ugandans. We must get markets. Local councils must also come in here. We need trade order in this country. Not everybody putting trade wherever he feels he wants. And I think that's part of the problem, why even maintaining our roads is a challenge. Now, Buburo Bududa, this one already, the contractor who's going to do that road is already doing the bridge, which had broken down. So this project is under a company called Abubeka, who is now doing the bridge. So Bududa, Buburo Road, the 28-kilometer circular road will be done.
Okay.
Kumi Tirinyi, you need the humps. And we'll see to that. I know that is a big debate. Some people say we do good roads and then spoil them with humps. Others are crying for humps. Now, before I sign off, the PS has talked about Mitiana Movendo already.
Yes.
Before I sign off, we have talked a lot about roads, but we have made a very big progress, for example, on our in terms of air. If you look at the improvement and developments at Entebbe Airport, that airport has now been enlarged. You remember when we had the Chogam here, we had to look for where other aircrafts were going to park. But now we can...
Some even,
yes,
the summits that we had.
Some even went into neighbors' countries. But now, even if we have a conference where 100 presidents are coming with their personal jets, we can accommodate them. So we have greatly improved Entebbe, even the infrastructure there, the departures. We have a new terminal which will soon be opening. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority has done very well in terms of being the regulator. Recently, we had a score from ICAO of 72.1%, which is, I think, the best within the region. So the regulations and management of our airspace has greatly improved.
Okay.
On top of that, of course, you know, we revived our Ugandan Airlines.
Yeah.
Yes, after so many years.
That's good news.
We are now back in the skies. Yes, we have challenges still, but those will be overcome. But the reason why we have them, I think there was an overambitious plan.
Your parting shots, Honorable Minister.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I think I could talk the whole day about the infrastructure. But please, thank you very much for hosting us. We hope that the few minutes we have had with you we have been able to throw some light on what we are doing as a ministry. Of course, the demand is big, but again, we have to cut our piece of coat according to the piece of cloth we have. We can't do all the roads at the same time, but we should try as much as possible, again, being guided by the National Planning Authority.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you good progress as we go forward.
All right.
To add on the gains which we have so far registered.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala. Thank you so much, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Bageya Waiswa. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Those who have sent in your questions, we've not tackled many of them, but because of time, but keep them coming or using that hashtag UBC Frontbench. The Minister did promise that when we do have him back, probably after 3 months from now, we shall be talking about 6,750 kilometers more, not 6,000. Probably by that time, we shall be talking about maybe 10,000. But we wait to see how best can that be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. From me and the entire team, I am Jethro Kasaiji. Good night.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all at our country's call, in peace and friendship we'll live. Oh, Uganda, the land that feeds us, thy son and fox our soul grow. For our own dear land, we'll always stand. Kapalova, Africa's proud.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
Poultry feeding involves providing a balanced, nutritionally complete diet to domestic birds like chicken and ducks using commercial feeds. Key aspect involves supplying the correct balance of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, ensuring adequate feeder and drinker space for all birds, and implementing feeding schedules, often in the early morning, to support growth and production. Today, we take you to Wakiso Farm Supply in Wakiso District to find out how feeding process is done. Kamashengelo Christine is one of the founders.
I'm called Kamashengelo Christine, co-founder Wakiso Farm Supplies. Yeah, this is Wakiso Farm Supplies, located in Wakiso town, along Bukasa Road, just 2 kilometers from Wakiso town. Yes, we do deal in poultry, we do deal in, we supply the old chicks, we supply fertilized eggs, we supply 1 month old, and we supply even old birds. Yeah, now for the feeding, first of all, it will depend on the target market of the farmer. Now, for example, for the farmer that is feeding birds for meat is not the same for eggs. So they have different mixtures and even different feeding program of eggs. There is a feeding program of eggs and a feeding program of meat. But first of all, when the chicks are day old, you start with what we call starter pellet. There is a pre-starter and the starter pellet. So you can either go in with the pre-starter, that is from 0 to 8 days. Then from 0 to 8, then from 8 days you can go on with the starter. Yes, starter can go from 8 days up to like 14 days. For the pre-starter, we mainly use the pellet formed feeds. Yes, they are formulated with the machine, and we got those small crumbs, small parts of the feeds. Now, how they do this feeding, they mix these usual feeds, but then they make it in a pelleted form, so that it is very easy for the day old chick to consume it wholly. Because now when the birds are consuming the feeds, there are these particles that remain on the feeder. So these particles mainly are those that have the